downtown Miami at 30 East, if you're familiar with the geography here. So that's two cranes, one collapsed or a possible failure in the crane. The bottom line is this crane is now hanging. Part of it is hanging down. These cranes, more than 20 of them in downtown Miami, a sign of the progress and the economic sort of boom times that Miami is experiencing, but they couldn't get them down in time. It takes 6 days to a week to get a crane down. They didn't have that much lead time, so they had to leave them up. They secured them. We were told they were built to withstand 145-mile-an-hour winds. Now, I don't know whether we got that here. You know, down on the ground, 80, 90 miles an hour. We were told up in the skyscrapers there were gusts of 100 miles an hour, but it's clear at least two of those cranes have failed. Authorities are telling people not to go anywhere near the areas of those two cranes. And of course, it's not just the cranes that are a problem, also the storm surge, very much what we anticipate to see on the west coast of Florida. A very real problem at this moment in Miami. The streets that people know so well, Brickell Ave, covered in water, and it's very hard to move around these areas, and they're exact areas that Miami officials ordered mandatory evacuations for. They wanted people out because they were scared of just this thing. We were told of 4 to 6 feet worth of storm surge here. Chad Myers at last check said 5.5 feet, and 5.5 feet was enough to get over some of those storm walls and flood the streets. Where we are right now, when we've been out here straight days nearly, the water came up. The water came up, you can see the cement right here. It came up about a foot from the top. It has begun to recede because the tide is going out. So our immediate situation right around here appears to be better. The boats in this marina have taken a beating. It's behind the camera, you can't see it, but there was one of the larger boats at one point was tied down by 8 ropes. There was only one rope. The tide on at a certain going out. Rushing out and trying to secure it. I think maybe they did. We have seen parts of docks float off into the water here. And then another sensation that we saw for much of the morning was bursts of green light out there from Miami Beach. That is where Miami Beach is. And those bursts of green light were transformers blowing. And that, of course, meant that Miami Beach was going to be without power. They could be without power for some time. A lot of Miami-Dade has lost power as well. Again, just the beginning for what will happen in Florida as this storm has made the turn and heads right towards where Chris Cuomo is in Naples. And Chris, I've been listening to you,